I can't believe you like Breakfast in Dungeon or whatever it is.
Oh, Delicious in Dungeon. They're starting to work on season 2. They don't have a date on it.
I am sorry I triggered that, everybody, but we were really talking about me here. So, but
Daddy, tell me a story.
All right, Bob wants to hear a story. I know I'm having withdrawals. I haven't seen him in a hot minute.
Get him on. We should get him on in February. He will not be at Con. He's at a different con.
Yeah,
that weekend. So maybe we should just have him on sometime in February. Because we were having him on, then we are seeing him at all these cons, and then it's like it's been. Conjuration was late November. No, late October. Late October, and that's the last time we saw him and Ben and everybody else that's not Tyra. Because Tyra's local. Yep. All right. The story, the biggest argument you've ever had about a fictional universe. All right, John, this one's yours, I do believe, because I don't know that I argue about that kind of thing.
I'm not the one that put it in our notes, but I did have one for it, so I was like, oh, let's go for it.
All right, cool. I think some of these came from, like, I did a search one day. I was like, I got tired of us going, what are we going to do? And I went to Reddit and all these other places and just started pulling questions. So,
yeah. So after Harry Potter 6 came out, the book, not movie, I was going on a road trip with my brother, my older brother. We were driving from Southeast Washington to Idaho. It was about 8.5 hour in the car drive. The entire time we debated on various theories that we had for book 7, for the Deathly Hallows. And at the time we didn't even have a name to go off of or anything. We were just solely basing it off of, we knew it was the final book and what needed to be completed. And so for those unfamiliar with the Harry Potter franchise, they dump a lot of information that you couldn't have gleaned from the first books in book 7, with a lot of different lore and things like that. And so, but even with them completely changing things up on us, we got pretty dang close on a few different things. Obviously, we were throwing so many theories out there. Something had to be kind of close, because there were a lot of things that were very not even close. But I remember at the time there was a website, and this is a huge spoiler for those that haven't, so you might want to skip ahead by a minute or two. There was a website after book 6 came out called dumbledoresnotdead.com. And they listed a whole bunch of different, what I thought at the time was rather compelling arguments for why Dumbledore wasn't dead.
Okay.
And so, like, for instance, book 6, one of the main focuses in the Defense Against the Dark Arts class was nonverbal spells. So you do a spell without saying it, without out loud. And then in book 5, Harry is told that unforgivable curses are not very effective if you don't mean them. So, because he uses the Cruciatus curse on Bella and or Bellatrix. And so one of the main theories behind Dumbledore not being dead, was that Snape was actually a good guy and didn't mean it. So he said the words, but he thought a different spell. And so he was actually casting a different spell and not the Avada Kedavra, even though that's what he said. And they had other things, like every other time it's mentioned the killing curse, it talks about how they just slumped down, but when Dumbledore got hit, he flew backward out the tower, and so it had quite a bit of different things. So we talked a lot about that. We talked about all kinds of, and 8.5 hours. It filled the entire 8.5 hours. Nice. And so we were in Idaho for like a week, and then we went back. Nerd. I mean, you're not wrong. And then on the way back, for about half of it, we continued that discussion. So we went there, we spent like a week there or whatever, and then we drove back. So we spent a good 12 hours in the car talking about our different theories for the 7th Harry Potter book. That was the biggest argument
Was it argument
ever.
or was it discussion? I mean,
It was more of a
little both,
discussion,
or-
a little bit of a debate.
Sure.
Because I do get the continuation of argument seems more aggressive, but it was more of a debate and theorizing and discussion. But that was definitely the biggest nerd debate I ever had, at least the longest.
Gotcha, man. The last time I argued about anything fandom might have been when I was a kid, like in high school or something, because it just became ridiculous, right? People, because it's any argument, right? It becomes not about facts, but about feelings and
Yep.
and fighting things. And then we would do the when I was running Giant Size Team Up, we would have a bunch of different hosts on and do a movie night for the big things. And one of them was the new Star Wars, which was whatever. And I mean, there were so many opinions, and honestly, Paul Klotz just got on my nerves because he had to be right about everything. And we're like, this should be a discussion about what we did or didn't like about the film, much like Wait You Haven't Seen with
Yeah.
Travis. But it became kind of a fall. I think it's one of the last ones we ever did because I just got over it. It's like, yeah, I'm not here to argue. I'm here to say my point, and you can agree with some of it and disagree with some of it, and that's fun. We can connect, or we can at least have some fun of like, I can't believe you like Breakfast in Dungeon or whatever it is.
Delicious in Dungeon. They're starting to work on season 2. They don't have a date on it.
I am sorry I triggered that, everybody, but we were really talking about me here. So, but yeah, it's and even fan theories can even be okay. Like there's some they're just okay. That's fun, right? Like Prince Eric and Little Mermaid was heading to the wedding of Tangled or whatever, and I mean there's some fun little connection theory. Those are always fun, but I don't care enough about any fandom to even get into like what's going to happen in book 7, because I've been around fandom all my life and it never goes the way you're going to think it's going to go. Now it can be fun. Don't get me wrong. That sounds like a fun ride. It sounds like I'd have enjoyed listening to an edited version of that podcast documentary there. But it's always a waste. I just today finished Ozarks, and I was like, I hate when they drag a show out, and that's what Ozarks felt like. They drug it out, and honestly, the story shifted from the main character, which is Jason Bateman, throughout most of it. Even though he's there, the focus shifted to I think it's Laura Dern that plays his wife, but it focused to her character, and like, and then the ending was. It was okay. It was okay. I mean, there was not, honestly, nobody will end the show the way I want them to end it. Anything to do with crime, I think at the end of this, if you're ending the show, everybody should lose. Oh no, I take that back. The Shield on FX was a perfect ending. They still drugged that show out at least one season too long.
Was that the one with Michael Chiklis?
It was.
Okay.
It was. And it was off and on good. Like it did the roller coaster thing. And there was actually last season, from my memory, I haven't watched it in a while, but last season of that was very good because they were wrapping it up and they were building all these will they get caught kind of moments, blah, blah, blahs. But everybody lost. I loved it so much. Because it was like it's inevitable. There was no other ending you could get. Why do we have to have any kind of happy? And everybody fusses about The Sopranos that didn't end at all, basically. And it's whatever.
If something becomes popular, they just want to keep milking it. And so that's why I really appreciate ones who have a vision from the get-go and stick to it. Like with Avatar: The Last Airbender, they from the get-go planned on it being 3 seasons, and it got wildly popular, and the Nickelodeon was like, we need to continue this. They're like, no, we can do a sequel, but this is the story we had planned, period.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate people that stick to their guns and say, no, this is it ending. Just like Arcane. Did you ever watch Arcane, the League of Legends one
No, I did
on
not.
Netflix? Yeah. So they did their seasons and they had it planned specifically, and it has become wildly popular, very expensive, but wildly popular. And they said, look, we might do more stories, but this story is done. And so yeah.
Devo says, Joe, myself, and all of the other podcasters have a secret Discord where we debate conspiracy theories about Charles.
Yeah. It may
there
or
actually
may
been some
not.
legitimate side conversations where it leaked out that I've definitely been the topic of conversation. I don't care.
We have discussed your Bigfoot ancestry in there, among other things. So just
hey, you have no idea if Bigfoot's one of the ancient gods. I'm just saying. Just saying, Joe. The old gods. Let's roll some dice.
Hey.
Digress too much. What?
The Old Testament talks about there being giants. Bigfoot.
And yeah. You know.